My wife got pregnant and left me. Now she reached out to me to tell me the other guy turned her life into a nightmare. Guys, I have no intention of getting back together with her, taking her back, or even wanting to help her. I sent her links to the rescue, tries to contact her family, and they told me to cut her off. The only reason I want to help her is that she reached out to me as the last resort, and I don't want to spend my life in regret if anything serious happens to her, knowing I could have helped but chose not to, which is why I made this post. I'm gonna send her money via her friend before telling her this is all I can do, and she shouldn't reach out to me unless it's urgent. I'm looking for helpful advice without judgment, so please hear me out. This is a long post, so I apologize. Me, 31M, and my ex-wife, 29F, were married for 7 years, together for 9 before she cheated and left me for the other guy. Our divorce got finalized in March this year. The other guy is a playboy jerk who's probably 24-ish. It began at the end of last year, and in January of the current year, she tells me she wants a divorce. I found out they've been talking for an entire year before it turned physical last year, October. Divorce was smoothish as we didn't have any kids. She got the car. I kept my house and finances. After this, I was out of her life. She was out of mine. We never contacted each other except for 1 or 2 times. That 2 was when we saw each other when public. Her family is very conservative, and they basically cut her off after she cheated and divorced. She moved in with the other guy. During this time, I found out she also lost a lot of friends, as the other guy tried to hit on them or insult them. Her ex-sets of friends tried to get me involved in their fights. Immature AF, but I included this part because these set of friends were the ones to stand behind her after she had an affair, telling me she found herself and I should probably let her go. I don't harbor any resentment towards her or the other guy. I didn't get involved with anyone during this period because I was focused on my job and earning back my money, which I lost on divorce. Here's where I need help. 2 days back, I get a call from one of my ex-wife's friends who told me my ex-wife wanted my number. I changed it after divorce. She didn't say much when I asked her why and told me she needed to talk. I thought it was important as, mind you, we never had any contacts. So suddenly her wanting to talk to me created a sense of seriousness for which I tell her to give my number. Yesterday my ex-wife called. She sounded very creepy, for real. She didn't have the voice she used to, but it was broken. You could sense something was wrong, so I asked her what's up and she broke down crying. Went on from telling how great things were to how are things now. So the other guy is a manipulative and alcoholic POS, a piece of crap, who cheated on her multiple times in their 7 monthly relationships. Put her in charge of finances, which meant her getting a job, and she's pregnant. Now he doesn't want to be the father, so he's telling her she cheated, and he's using her. She has no place to go, and he wants a termination if she wants to be together. I asked her why did she call me instead of the police. She told me she has nowhere else to go. None of her friends are willing to help her out, and that POS got friends in the department, so she's scared if things go around. She can't contact her family because they don't want anything to do with her, so she's alone. Listening to her made me sad. It really did. I told her I can sympathize but can't do anything else because I don't want to be the third party. I told her whatever relationship we had with each other is over, and she's on her own now. Why should I stand up for her when she's no one to me? Besides, they're a couple now. They're dating, and she's the one earning. She has the upper hand. I gave her advice to save funds and run away silently if she doesn't want a termination. It was a 17 minutes call, and she basically wanted to talk more, but I told her I was busy and cut her off. She did mention she was sorry to treat me and leave me. I honestly don't care about that. I told her to contact me only when it's necessary because I really don't want to hear from her anymore. Yesterday night I gave deep thinking to it and felt I should do something because no one deserves this kind of uses. But I don't want to get in between because getting in between will blow up my own peace. I'm looking for advice if I can do anything to help her out. I called her family and they told me they want nothing to do with her because she is already dead to them. Update. This will be my last post. It was a ducking mess all over and there's a lot of guilt in my heart now. I will be deleting this account too. I helped her. I passed a few thousand worths of dollars to her via her friend and told her she can take care of herself as I didn't want to be a part of this crap show. We talked on the phone for 37 minutes on the 14th. She told me how much sorry she is and went on to say the memorable times we spent. Not once she told me she wanted to get back together. I noticed she wasn't begging or asking for help, but rather she told me it's the path she chose, and she knows she can't keep or provide for the child. Neither the other guy would let her keep it, and she doesn't want to terminate this. She told me she wanted to talk to her parents one time. They cut her off as it caused a huge debacle, and her photos got viral around the area, so her family suffered a lot of humiliation. And apologized for an issue she caused. I told her I hope she gets the happiness she deserves, and told her she needed to get out of this relationship. That's all. In our whole call, I just listened. I didn't want to give her justification or validation. I was just nodding to her. This time, she herself was the one to tell me that I am an amazing guy and deserve better than her before she voluntarily wanted to hang up. The reason was she chose to end her life. I found this out the day before yesterday. She and herself, that other guy was a POS and had a tool, illegal of course. She just left a note saying it was her path that she chose and apologized to everyone she hurt. Police are still investigating. From what I heard, other guy has been taken into custody for possessing an illegal tool and is currently on the top suspect list. I'm not in contact with her friends or family. I work in a different city, so I'm not in the town. From what I've heard, her friends are preparing to testify against the other guy. No one from her family or friends reached out to me. I don't know if her family knows, but I don't intend to tell them. I can't sleep right now because of it. There's ducking guilt in my heart. I could have helped her. I could have done something more. I could have done something, but I chose to not get involved, which led her to end herself. Duck. I still don't know what more happened, as I heard it from a friend of mine whose relative is a part of the investigating group. I didn't want to make this post, but I needed to get this off my chest. I've thrown up twice and still can't get a grip on myself. Wife is wrecked because I left and moved on with her friend after I caught her doing crazy things in my bed with a fair partner. I met my ex, Kara, in early 1994. We clicked fast. We introduced each other to our families and friends within a month. Everyone got along great. At this point, life was perfect. 1 year after we met, I asked Kara to marry me. She accepted, and we started planning our wedding. We decided on a date in August '96. I was walking on air. Kara moved in with me in early March '96. She wanted to find a job quickly and contribute to the household. I wanted her to wait until after the wedding. I made more than enough to easily support us both. But she was adamant. This is when things started to fall apart. She went to work for a design firm in late March. Within a month she started working, she became distant, showed little affection, and started talking endlessly about her project manager. I should have seen the red flags, but nope. D-Day was June 12th, 1996. I came home from work early and, found Kara and her project manager Tim in our bed. They both panicked. Tim grabbed his clothes and left. Kara sat on the bed getting dressed and told me we were through. Her reason, he can help my career, you can't. 2 weeks later, Kara's BFF, Terry, called. She hadn't spoken with Kara in a while and wanted to chat. I told her what happened. She thought I was making a joke and started laughing. When I was silent, Terry realized I was serious. Kara had been kind enough to give me her new address and phone number if I ever wanted to chat or visit, like that was going to happen. I gave Terry her address and number. Terry came to my house about 2 hours later. She is normally very upbeat and smiling. This time, she looked like she wanted to murder someone. She came in and gave me a hug. She cut loose with a massive outburst about Kara and how she was lying by word and that she was done with her. Kara had told Terry that I was physically and emotionally misusable. What a pile of crap. Terry and I started hanging out together. We never really talked a lot before. Turns out we both absolutely love British history and Italian food. Terry went back to school to finish her thesis in the fall of '96. We called each at least once a week, and we also visited each other a few times. In early November, I called and asked if I could visit her on the 9th. She was about to start doing some hard research, and I knew her time was going to be needed for her project. I went to her apartment. When I got there, she asked me if I was calling and visiting her because I wanted to talk to someone, or was it because I liked time with her? This made me chuckle. I told her that my friends live within a mile of me. If I wanted to just talk or hang out, I wouldn't run up my phone bill or drive 2 hours. I liked being with her. She smiled, and we went out for dinner and a movie. When we went back to her place, she turned and kissed me. I was stunned but quickly recovered and kissed her back. Our first date, first kiss, and the first time we slept in the same bed. The other first happened the next day when I left to get breakfast for us and came back to her apartment with an engagement ring. We were married on May 9th, 1998. A few months after we were married, my sister called. Kara wanted to talk to me. She gave my sister her number. Terry said I should call, so I did. She apologized and wanted to know if we could try again. I thanked her and said I had moved on. At this point, Terry got on the call. Kara ended the call quickly after that. Kara called my sister and said that we had betrayed her. WTF. In September, I was visiting Terry and were hanging out at a willow grove in Gypsy Hill Park. We were talking about nothing in particular. She turned to me and took my hand and said, "I know you're hurting. I know you're trying to hide it. I want you to know that when you are ready to try again, I will never let go of your hand." I broke at that point. Every emotion that I had been holding back came pouring out. That was when I started to see her as more than a friend. It would be another 2 months before we became a couple. I believe that walk was our turning point. Cheating wife returned pregnant from vacation. I was livid and said that we were done, but she begs to take her back because AP dumped her. Around November of 2020, my then wife of all of 6 months started hanging out with a guy that she knew from before but had little contact with while we were dating. One night, we were watching a movie while he was over hanging out, and I saw he was softly scratching her back slowly back and forth. I told him to stop, then got up and left the house before I exploded in anger. She came out and, long story short, told me that I was overreacting, and that if I asked him to leave, she would go with him. Now I remember being shocked that she would make that decision, and wrote it off as her anger getting the better of her. The guy, let's call him Al, was going through a rough divorce, and my wife talked me, who is the sole owner of the house we lived in, into letting him stay on the couch so he didn't have to live with his ex-wife. He was emotionally unstable, depressed, so sometimes she would sleep in the same room and sometimes on the same futon as him. I was not okay with this, but she assured me nothing was happening, and I trusted her. Fast forward a few months, and she helps Al get a new apartment after his divorce is finalized. I'm supportive of her having other friends because she is a stay-at-home mom of a 5-yo that was from a previous relationship before us. One night they both get drunk and have sex. Then again, a few weeks to a month later, he tells her to either have sex with him again or he will tell me that they had sex. At this time, I have my suspicions about what is going on, and I ask her straight up, but she either lies to me or makes me feel bad about not trusting her. She breaks it off with him and blocks him from everything after cheat #2, and I'm never told. Fast forward to May, and I find out that she has Tinder on her phone. I ask her what is up, and she says it's just to find friends since she's cooped up in the house alone all the time. Keep in mind that she has her own working car, but I am working 7 days a week at this point to pay all the bills. I say that Tinder isn't the right place for that, but again, I'm supportive of her making friends. As far as I now know, she had 2 guys over during this time. One while I was at work who just came by to take a shower after work and head off to a party so we didn't have to drive home, and another who she invited over while I was there and cuddled with on the couch. When I said I wasn't comfortable with her doing that, she basically told me to get over it because she wasn't doing anything wrong. Now fast forward to June, where she meets a guy, let's call him Cal, and starts talking with him. Later, I learned that they were sexting a lot, and that he was threatening and had a force kink bordering on rapey according to her. She also brings up that we should open up our relationship and go poly, to which I say hell no to. She still decided to start spending alone time with him, and eventually she gives him BJ once in our house when he demands from her. Later, she told me that she did so out of fear and to just get him out of the house, but she continues talking with him after. He breaks it off with her and blocks her. It is at this point when the guilt finally brings her to tell me about cheating on me with both Al and Cal. She only tells me about the first time with Al and says that her and Cal did it in a hotel. She words it like she was fully *aped, and the only way she didn't even say no was because she was scared and locked up. Thinking that my wife was *aped, I tried to be as supportive as I could and ended up forgiving her on the spot. I didn't trust her anymore because of all the other red flags and lies about not cheating when I asked previously, but I forgave the cheating. She starts to become cold to me, not wanting to hang out or do anything together, not wanting to work on us or go to marriage counseling, which I suggested. She starts sleeping up in her daughter's room, and we are effectively separated for months. No sex, no kissing, not even hugging while she works on getting herself better so we can be better. Fast forward to November, she ends up going to hang with an old friend that she knew before me and had been talking to a lot more recently in Hawaii for a week over Thanksgiving. She told me about it beforehand, and he paid for the whole trip. That was suspicious to me, but I had promised her to give her another chance. She went down there and came back pregnant. When she finds this out after a week of being back, she tells me. She also tells me about cheat-2 with Al, and that she had lied about how and where she had sex with Cal. At this point, I'm not even upset anymore. I know it's over, and I'm gearing up to go through the divorce. She was all for getting divorced at first, but changed her tune to wanting to work it out once the baby daddy started saying he didn't want anything to do with the baby and she should end pregnancy. However, I'm out. I'm done, and that was the last straw. I'm kind of glad that I was right in thinking that she would cheat again, and that I would be able to finally be done with all this. I have no more moral obligation to be an understanding, patient, and forgiving husband anymore. I know a lot of you at this point are wondering why I stuck it through so much, why I gave her so many chances and was so forgiving. It's because she has had a really crappy life up to this point. She has a bunch of diagnosed mental issues due to a really bad childhood. Think of the worst possible childhood you can imagine, and you're probably close. She sees sex differently than normal people. To her, it doesn't have the emotional connections that it has for normal people. I was focused on being the best husband to her that I could be. That was the focus of my whole life. Be the best husband I could be and the best father figure for her daughter. Patient, understanding, and forgiving with all her issues. I was going to turn her and her daughter's life around and fix everything. I was going to work hard so she could do whatever she wanted to do with her life career-wise, and so her daughter could go to college. Work, not work, whatever. That was my pride as a husband and as a man. Providing everything by myself and turning their lives around completely. That's what I got out of it. At least that's what I told myself. Now I'm just glad that it'll be over soon and I can stop giving Sue much. I don't know if in the end I'm doing the right thing by leaving her, but I know that I can't go on anymore. I'm done. I've given all I can give.